I'm Chris Hansen, right now on Crime Watch Daily from here in New York. A wealthy New York businessman ambushed in his home and shot in the face.
His face was obliterated.
The shooter, it's his own flesh and blood.
He appeared to be the perfect kid.
His 20-year-old Ivy League son.
We had the defendant saying, I had to do it, I did it.
Detectives have their confession, but did he really pull the trigger?
Do you think Charlie Tan actually committed this shooting?
His prints aren't on the gun.
We've got 3 separate DNAs on this, none of which belong to him.
He didn't buy the gun, and there's someone else with a possible motive for murder.
There's far more evidence that suggests she did it.
Michelle Sagona has the explosive ending and why the judge threatened to send the prosecutor to prison.
It was shocking, and it continues to be shocking.
Then, new details on the missing Tennessee teen allegedly kidnapped by her armed teacher.
Izzy, please come home. Get away from him.
Are they secret lovers who ran off to elope? The new social media clues. The last photo before they vanished. The teacher's wife begging him to come to his senses.
Tad, this is not you. This is not who you are.
Right now.
Andrea Isom, sir, with Crime Watch Daily.
Jason Matera with Crime Watch Daily.
This
I'm Elizabeth. I'm here with Crime Watch.
I'm Michelle from Crime Watch Daily.
Anna Garcia from Crime Watch.
is Crime Watch Daily.
Stay off my property.
We'll find you again. We always do.
Welcome to Crime Watch Daily, everyone. I'm Chris Hansen. First up today, Charlie Tan is every family's dream child, a star student at an Ivy League school and a gifted athlete. However, prosecutors say he's also something else, an accused murderer. Michelle Sagona is here with Charlie's controversial case.
Chris, it all starts with the shooting death inside a New York home right here in this neighborhood.
Who's already dead?
The body of a wealthy businessman, Jim Tan, is found lying on the floor of his study, disfigured almost beyond recognition.
It was a shotgun blast to the face.
His face was obliterated while he was still alive.
It looked like an assassination or an execution.
And Tan's Ivy League son, Charlie, stunningly confesses at the scene of the gruesome crime.
Saying, I did it, I had to do it, he was going to kill my mother.
But conflicting evidence fuels suspicions that Charlie may have actually been trying to save his mother, Jean, from something else. A murder rap.
There's far more evidence to support the fact that she did it than Charlie did it.
The bloody killing of Jim Tan is a whodunit like few before that dominated the headlines of our Rochester affiliate, WHAM.
Who killed Jim Tan?
Have you ever seen anything like this?
I don't think so.
It was shocking, and it continues to be shocking.
Murders like this don't happen too often anywhere, and certainly never in Pittsford.
Probably the most affluent community we have here in the Rochester area.
Where Chinese immigrants Jim Tan, 49, wife Jean, and youngest son Charlie, 20, are living the American dream in a beautiful home.
The Tans, by all accounts, were a family that had it all.
Thanks to Jim's remarkable success in business.
Who was he?
He was the owner of Dynamax Imaging. It's an digital optics company. They make digital sensors for cameras, phones, that kind of thing. It was a business that did well.
And John Hand, a local newspaperman who's covered the Tan murder case from day one, says success was running in the family, with son Charlie already far exceeding his parents' high hopes for him.
Charlie was a superstar kid, president of a student class at one of the top schools in the state.
Well liked in school, did well athletically.
So well that Charlie had gone on to become an Ivy Leaguer at the prestigious Cornell University in Ithaca, where the sophomore was continuing his academic success and further showing off his athletic prowess on the football team.
Charlie's a very accomplished young man. He was very well thought of and certainly was an overachiever as it related to grades, as it related to sports, as it related to everything.
He was also popular.
He was much loved by all his friends. He appeared to be the perfect kid.
But behind Charlie's affable demeanor and broad smile, there lay some painful family secrets.
We know there was distress in the household.
And it was about to be exposed with the squeeze of a trigger.
A lot of what people came to find out about that home was shocking because they didn't know what was really going on.
James Noble says Jim and Jean Tan had reportedly been having violent arguments.
There was definitely a long-standing history of domestic violence in the house.
Jean is said to have frequently shown signs of being physically abused.
One day she's fine and she's well, and the next day she has an injury. Her knee is bandaged, or she's got a bandage on her head or something like that. I bump my head. You know, the classic cliche excuses of a battered woman.
The police have been called to the Tan home more than a dozen times over the years. And just weeks before her husband would be found murdered, an apparently terrified Jean had called 911 again.
Are you injured?
Yes, he choked me and I'm so scared. Please,
You want an
please
ambulance?
come. Oh, he's coming. No, please come help me.
She was being assaulted or abused by her husband, Jim.
Who gets on the phone to deny it.
Hello. Okay.
Hello?
Sorry. Yeah. So this is just a mistake. Sorry, please.
What's that?
Calm down, please.
No charges would be filed, but cops had left Jean this card, directing her to help for domestic violence.
My understanding is that she had started an order of protection against her husband, but that she never followed through.
And her son's defense attorneys say Jean also saw a divorce lawyer shortly after.
So clearly she was starting to look for some help.
Then, just a week later, something happens that sends Charlie scurrying back to his parents' home from his dorm at Cornell, where he reportedly told his football coach,
Told him, Coach, I won't be here for weightlifting tomorrow. And his coach said, what's wrong? He said, I got some things I got to do and, get home.
but nobody knows for sure what the emergency was.
We've speculated and assumed that there was some communication between Charlie and his mother, which caused him at that point to pack up his belongings and come home and assist her in some way.
Next, surveillance cameras catch someone buying the murder weapon. But it's not Charlie.
Do you think Charlie Tan actually committed this shooting?
Behind the closed doors of this New York home, a man lay dead, gunned down while sitting at his desk. Michelle Sagona is back now with more.
Did Charlie Tan kill his allegedly abusive father to save his mother's life? Or just saying he killed him to save her from a murder rap?
There's more to suggest she did it than Charlie did it.
I don't think she had the capability to fire that shotgun.
The scene for this mother and son whodunit had been set when Charlie abruptly suspended his life at Cornell University to rush back to the family home in Rochester, New York, after getting what's believed to be a cry for help from his mother.
We know there had been some communication between the two of them about something that had happened at home, which was prompting his trip to go there.
And 4 days later, on a Monday night, police would receive this hysterical 911 call from Charlie's mother, Jean.
911 center, what is the address of the emergency?
Cops arrive at the Tan home to find Jean waiting outside with Charlie, who surprises them by confessing to killing his father.
They asked where his dad was. He said he's dead, he's upstairs, I had to do it, he was gonna hurt my mom.
Jean corroborates her son's story.
Jean Tan says my son did it. Charlie agrees that he did it. He directs the sheriffs to the location where the weapon is found.
So at first, it appears that maybe this could have been self-defense.
Exactly. But then you look at the crime scene, it appeared that Jim Tan was sitting at his desk, working, answering emails. There didn't appear to be a struggle. It looked like he was taken by surprise. There was not an item on his desk that was out of place.
Then there's the horrific way Jim Tan was killed. His body found lying under his desk in the study with 3 wounds inflicted by a 12-gauge shotgun.
Once in the chest, once sort of in the arm, and then a facial shot that pretty much removed his whole face.
The shotgun was placed next to his face. His face was obliterated while he was still alive.
Looked like an assassination or an execution.
And Charlie would be arrested and charged with second-degree murder on the strength of his crime scene confession.
Was Charlie hysterical?
No, he was very calm, very almost businesslike.
But from the moment the lead detective, Steve Peglow, arrived at the Tan home, he had suspicions Charlie and his mother were both lying about when Jim Tan was actually killed.
There was an odor of what bodies smell like when they have been around for a while, when they have started to decay. And you get that smell when you walked into the home.
You knew this was not a fresh murder.
That was the first indication.
The second indication was the blood evidence.
There was dried blood all over.
Then there was the state of the body.
I realized that Jim Tan was out of rigor mortis. When someone dies, their body stiffens, and it stiffens for 12 to 24 hours, and then the body goes out of rigor mortis and becomes very limber again.
The coroner would conclude Jim Tan had been dead for about 48 to 72 hours.
He certainly didn't die on Monday. He certainly didn't die on Sunday. You start getting into Saturday.
And detectives would stumble upon their biggest clue to exactly when Jim Tan was murdered.
Jim had a computer in front of him, and one of the investigators turns it on, and there was emails on the computer that had not been read since the previous Thursday.
The same day his son Charlie had mysteriously rushed back to the family home from Cornell.
We felt confident that Thursday evening was the last time he took a breath.
Which sparks accusations that Jim's wife Jean must have staged the 911 call she made 4 days earlier.
And what do you believe?
No question in my mind that that call on Monday night was completely fake. She also says, I saw something happen. We know she didn't see something happen on Monday night. It's impossible. That's what the coroner said.
Investigators have no evidence to indicate it was Jean who actually committed the murder, but they would gather a lot of circumstantial evidence pointing to Charlie as his father's killer. Learning that he had gotten a hold of the murder weapon that same Thursday that he returned home from Cornell. They would uncover the surveillance video of Charlie trying to buy the shotgun at Walmart near the university on his way back to Rochester, only to be turned away because he reportedly didn't have the necessary documents. But the surveillance video then shows a friend going back into the store and buying the gun for Charlie. Our affiliate WHAM reporting that the shotgun would become a centerpiece of the murder case against Charlie Tan.
Tonight, Jim Madelinsky with a closer look at the gun in question.
We believe he loaded it because his fingerprints are on the ammunition, came home, and essentially ambushed his father as he sat at his desk.
Investigators would also find this foreboding email Charlie sent to his fraternity brothers at Cornell that same day. He titled it Showtime, and it reads, "In the coming days, you'll start to hear things in the news and possibly get a couple of visits from authorities. Don't listen to anything you hear. A few already know my true story, and in due time, you will also."
Why is that email so important to this case?
It shows his intent. It shows that this was purposeful for him. I mean, he knew what he was going to do.
But Charlie's defense attorneys interpret the email as an indication Charlie knew his mother had perhaps already killed his father.
I explain it as a cover-up for his mother. He says, you're going to see what happened, and he also importantly says, what you're going to hear isn't true. That suggests to me that he's taken the fall for his mother.
Next, sparks fly in court, and the judge drops a huge bombshell when Charlie stands trial for the murder of his father.
It was a shock. It wasn't what we were expecting.
It was unfathomable because nobody saw that coming.
It's the unmaking of a murderer. Ivy League student Charlie Tan admits he gunned down his father while he sat at a desk. Charlie says it was self-defense. Prosecutors disagreed and charged him with murder. Here's Michelle Sagona.
It would be the most sensational and dramatic trial Rochester, New York had ever seen. And our affiliate WHAM is covering it from every angle.
We have team coverage today.
The courtroom is packed, and just about everyone except the prosecution seems to be rooting for popular 20-year-old Ivy Leaguer Charlie Tan, who stands accused of the bloody shooting murder of his wealthy businessman father, Jim.
It's usually the victim, has all the support from family and friends. We had nobody on our side. Everyone was supporting Charlie.
But police and prosecutors are confident they have all the evidence they need to get a conviction.
I really felt that we'd be able to lay out a case we could prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
They have the murder weapon, a 12-gauge shotgun used to blow half of Jim's face off while he sat at his computer in the study of his home. Surveillance video of one of Charlie's friends buying the gun for him just hours before the fatal shooting. A foreboding email Charlie had sent his fraternity brothers at Cornell University, warning them they would soon hear some shocking news they shouldn't believe. And a brief, informal confession Charlie gave to cops at the crime scene. The prosecution even has Charlie's alleged motive.
It's to protect his mother.
Jean Tan, who was allegedly being abused by her husband and living in fear for her life.
There was definitely a long-standing history of domestic violence in the house.
But Charlie's defense team is betting all that still won't be enough for the prosecution to win the case.
What was Charlie's defense?
Basically, our entire defense was built around, you don't know who shot this person. Nobody knows what's going on in this house.
And Charlie's attorneys hammer away at the evidence the prosecution doesn't have.
They had no eyewitnesses to put Charlie at the scene.
Plus, the only forensic evidence was Charlie's fingerprints on the ammunition in the shotgun.
How do you explain the fingerprints on the casings?
He could have touched them before the fact, after the fact. I mean, he has no fingerprints on the gun. So there's no evidence to suggest he's loading the gun.
And the weapon didn't have a trace of Charlie's DNA on it.
We've got 3 separate DNAs on this, none of which belong to him.
Then there's the prosecution's strongest piece of evidence. A brief statement Charlie made to cops at the crime scene that the prosecution is taking as a confession.
We had the defendant, Charlie Tan, saying, I had to do it, I did it. He was going to kill my mother.
The defense scoffs at it.
You're saying that that's not a confession?
It's not a confession. It's equivocal at best. It could be that he's covering, I had to do it. It's not clear what he had to do. No.
Crime Watch Daily legal correspondent Amy Dash explains.
It's not the same as him saying, I killed my father. So that's how specific you have to get when you want to present evidence that tries to prove that somebody confessed.
And it was never clarified.
No one asked a follow-up question.
Charlie had immediately retained an attorney and never said another word to investigators after that.
There was no interrogation of him at the police department.
That was the only statement he made.
That's it.
The defense cast suspicion upon Charlie's mother, Jean, who had also lawyered up and never spoken to police.
His mother, frankly, has a much greater motive, a much greater incentive, and much greater hatred in which to fuel this type of a violent act.
She's already dead. She's already dead.
Who's already dead?
And they suggest Jean's 911 call to police was faked, made on a Monday, 4 days after they say her husband was murdered.
We know she didn't see something happen on Monday night. It's impossible.
The defense tells the jury Charlie could have been taking the murder rap for his mom.
I'm asking you to take a look at Jean Tan, not because I'm telling you or suggesting to you that she killed Jim Tan, but you have to agree with me that there's far more evidence to suggest she did it than Charlie did it. If you agree with that statement, you have to find him not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
The jury would deliberate for 5 days without being able to reach a unanimous verdict. And Judge James Piapano declares a mistrial.
And we would start this case over again.
But when the prosecution and defense return to court expecting to discuss a date for a new trial, Judge Piapano makes a jaw-dropping announcement.
The case is dismissed.
The judge declaring to everybody's surprise that there's not enough evidence against Charlie to justify a new trial.
It was unfathomable because nobody saw that coming.
Charlie Tan and his defense team are ecstatic, while the prosecution is left in stunned disbelief.
It was a shock. It wasn't what we were expecting.
Even the defense concedes such a ruling by a judge has little precedent.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
I don't think so.
This is rare.
Yeah, it is rare.
And District Attorney Sandra Dorley cries foul.
There was clearly, in my opinion, under the law, legally sufficient evidence to allow that case to go to a jury for a decision.
This is an egregious error.
People feel that the judge essentially took the decision away from the jury. But what people don't realize is this is something that the law allows the judge to do.
But when a furious assistant district attorney and lead prosecutor Bill Gargan objects, Judge Piapano threatens to have him arrested and handcuffed right there in the court.
This is the only time in my career I've ever been threatened with jail by a judge. But had he sought to put me in jail, I would have gladly gone to ensure that our voices were heard in relation to that absurd decision.
Ironically, though, a smiling Charlie Tan walks out of the court an exonerated free man and straight into the cameras of our affiliate, WHAM.
Back up.
Sorry.
Please. Calm down. Let's go over here.
Was Charlie very surprised?
I think he was surprised by everything that happened.
The Charlie Tan story does not end here with all charges against him dropped. At this point, prosecutors are appealing the judge's decision.
We argued in front of our appellate division last week.
But D.A. Dorley admits the chances of getting a new trial are beyond slim.
This is an uphill battle.
It is an uphill battle.
And if the prosecution loses, as expected, the case will indeed be over.
Judge Papiano was right in what he did, that they can't appeal it, that there's nothing they can do.
He felt their case was so weak that it didn't even support bringing the murder charge. And the reason is they had a lot of these circumstantial pieces of evidence, but with each one you had to make a logical leap in order to connect him to the crime.
So the murder of Jim Tan remains as much of a whodunit now as it was in the beginning.
Do you believe Charlie Tan was in fact the person who pulled the trigger that night?
Yes.
But D.A. Dorley is not quite so sure.
Do you believe Charlie's mother had any part in this?
At this point, I don't believe that she did. I look at the firepower of the rifle that was used to murder Jim Tan. Jean Tan was a very small woman. I don't think she had the capability to fire that shotgun.
Was there a point in this case where you wanted to charge Jean Tan with conspiracy?
We looked into it, but we felt our strongest case was charging Charlie Tan with intentional murder as principal and/or accomplice, which means that Jean may have, had some doing in the preparation or the planning or responsible for the killing of Jim Tan.
And even Bill Gargan admits he could be proven wrong about Charlie's guilt.
Do you believe Jean Tan will ever be charged with anything?
I can tell you that there is no such thing as a closed murder investigation. You will always be on the lookout for evidence in any case that has not been solved.
Now we want to hear from you. After hearing the evidence, who do you think killed Jim Tan, Charlie or his mother? Sound off right now on our Facebook page, and for the latest on this case, you can go to our website or our affiliate's website, that's 13wham.com. Coming up, the teacher and the student gone.
Our concern is growing by the moment.
We've got the very latest from Tennessee on the alleged abduction from his shocked wife.
Please do the right thing and bring Beth home.
To what the older teacher was spotted buying the day before they disappeared. That's next. All right, now a story we followed very closely here at Crime Watch Daily. Here's Pat Lalama.
Desperate pleas from a father.
Izzy, please come home. Please, get away from him. Come home.
A stunning request from a shocked wife.
Please do the right thing and turn yourself into the police and bring Beth home.
Hundreds of leads, but the only thing newly surfacing is this photo of pretty 15-year-old Elizabeth Beth Thomas and her 50-year-old former teacher Tad Cummins having a seemingly innocent conversation at school a few months before they disappeared. Now this pair is on the run, and no one knows where they are, or if the young teen even went willingly.
Our concern is growing by the moment. We want her home. We want him in custody.
Their reported relationship started at school, but has sparked a frenzied nationwide manhunt.
My heart breaks for the family of Beth Thomas. I want her home just as much as the rest of you.
Jill Cummins is baffled by her husband's actions.
Tad, this is not you. This is not who you are. We can help you get through this. Your family wants their Poppy back.
And so does law enforcement. Tad Cummins' stunt has quickly landed him on Tennessee's top 10 most wanted list. So far, about 650 leads have come in. None have led to their whereabouts, and there have been no credible sightings.
Just trying to get the word out. The more I can get the word out, the more we can have people looking for her, the better chance we have of finding her.
Is it an abduction, or did the pair plan an escape?
I certainly can't begin to explain why I think this occurred.
Police slowly revealing disturbing new details. Just days before Elizabeth and Cummins disappeared, cops say Cummins was searching the topic of teen marriages online. He was also scouring the net for information about his car's features to see if they can be tracked by law enforcement.
We have no idea where these individuals could be right now. This is a dire situation for this young girl.
The last time Elizabeth was seen, a friend reportedly dropped her off at a restaurant in Columbia, Tennessee, not far from where this surveillance video captured the teacher filling up his silver Nissan at a gas station. On the day she vanished, Elizabeth reportedly told her siblings she was spending the day with a friend and strangely instructed them to call the police if she didn't return home by 6 p.m. 6 o'clock came and went with no sign of Elizabeth. It seems a plan had been laid out with military precision. Just days before they disappeared, cops say Cummins took out a $4,500 loan. They also say he's armed and dangerous with 2 handguns.
They could be anywhere. They could have additional resources. They could be in a different vehicle.
This is the last known photo of Elizabeth, seen carrying clothes in her arms. And here's Cummins on supermarket security camera. Look closely. There's hair dye in his shopping cart, leading some to speculate he might be looking for a way to change an appearance. Right now, investigators say they believe the purchase was not connected. But there are even more disturbing clues on the pair's social media accounts. Recently, Elizabeth changed her Instagram status to wife, followed by an engagement ring emoji. On Cummins' Instagram account, sappy love messages filled with hearts and sunsets. At the bottom of one note reads, "Baby Girl 2001, #mission completed," fueling speculation that the pair may be trying to marry.
I do know one thing. I had no idea my husband was involved with anything that could have led to all of this.
So how did the relationship spiral so crazily out of control? Elizabeth's parents say that the 50-year-old dazzled their daughter with stories, saying he's a secret agent with the CIA and loaded with cash. Tales, they say, he used to manipulate her. And at some point, the relationship allegedly did become intimate. Another student reportedly saw Cummins and Elizabeth kissing on the school grounds. The administration was notified, but reportedly allowed Cummins to continue teaching and transferred the teen out of his class. The freshman and her teacher were ordered to have no further contact, but apparently the flames of desire were lit and burning out of control.
When we found out what the school system was saying about when they took action, that they didn't delay, my client was outraged.
Cummins was suspended after the school board received a letter from Elizabeth's outraged father. The teacher was not officially fired by the district until he disappeared with the teen.
My client and his family is beyond distraught. They want her home safely.
The Maury County Public School issued a statement saying, in part, the district does not tolerate any manner of behavior that is alleged in this incident and will take swift action.
Our message to Elizabeth is, we're still coming for you. We're going to do everything in our possibility, everything in our capabilities to bring you home.
The TBI issued their own statement, expressing concern that the 50-year-old was abusing his role while attempting to lure and potentially sexually exploit her. An unbearable thought for the teenager's family as they wait in agony for her safe return.
To Mr. Cummins, I'm not asking you to report yourself to the police. I'm not asking you to turn yourself in. I'm just asking for you to leave her somewhere, put her somewhere safe so that we can get her home.
Coming up, A late-night break-in, a little girl assaulted, and when she wrongly IDs her father as the suspect, he is robbed of a normal life.
They've been told for 20 years that I was this horrible monster, and I'm not.
Crime Watch Daily inside Brad Pittman's road to redemption. How cops finally caught the real perp. That's next. Now to a heartbreaking story out of Colorado. For 20 years, Brad Pittman lived life being called a monster, accused of an unthinkable crime. His family deserted him. His kids wanted nothing to do with him. And adding insult to injury, Brad Pittman was an innocent man. We're teaming up with our affiliate KDVR for more on Brad's new search for redemption. A break-in at a family home. A kitchen window breached.
There was forcible entry to the residence.
An innocent 4-year-old girl sexually assaulted. Telling police about her horrible ordeal in this videotaped interview.
He hurted me when I was sleeping in bed.
Injuries so brutal, the little girl requires 5 surgeries.
I had asked her that, if it was somebody that she knew. And she said no. She had never seen the person before.
Or had she?
He maybe looked like my dad. He maybe had his skin brown, like my dad.
Her dad is Brad Pittman, recently separated from the little girl's mom and for the previous 2 weeks living way across town. Pittman tells police he receives a call from his ex just moments after the assault and he races back to his family. Did the little girl really name her own father as a suspect? Pittman tells reporter Rob Lowe of our Denver affiliate KDVR it was a shaken 4-year-old's simple mistake.
The word she used in the one interview was dark, like my dad. At the time I was framing houses, so I was really suntan.
The evidence is on Pittman's side. Detectives pull a lone palm print from the break-in window. It's not Pittman's. And a timeline video commissioned by investigators proves he couldn't have committed the crime. It looks like Dad is in the clear. But then, months later, police and social workers re-interview the little girl. What the little girl says turns the spotlight right back on the man you'd least suspect.
Guess what? My dad did it.
What did your dad do?
Hurted me.
That's the male figure in her life that she knew at the time, so that's who she compares this individual to because it was a male that committed the crime.
Cops didn't believe Pittman did it, and before the little girl pointed the finger at her dad, she had repeatedly said it was a stranger who attacked her.
That's not nice for strangers to hurt little kids.
Court records show social workers still recommend he pay an unbelievable price. Take responsibility for the sexual physical abuse, and Mr. Pittman is to participate in a psychological and/or sex offender evaluation. Pittman refuses, insisting he's innocent.
Repeatedly ask a 4-year-old, did your dad do it? I think sooner or later they're going to believe he did it.
But the Department of Human Services takes the child's words and runs with them, filing a motion for termination of Pittman's parental rights to his daughter and baby son. All that despite the fact Pittman never spent a day in jail, was never even charged with abuse.
I've been in prison for 20 years now. That's more or less what it feels like. I might not have went to jail, but I've been in prison for 20 years.
Then, 2 decades later, this shocker. Cops matched the palm print with one from a 1998 burglary case in Garland, Texas. The suspect, this man, Joel Market. In 1996, Market was a soldier stationed at Fort Carson, less than a mile from the scene of the crime. And Market resembles this composite sketch of an intruder accused of similar break-ins and assaults in the same neighborhood.
His fingerprints were the only one on this window, so they could have ruled me out 20 years ago.
Now, those prints are the physical evidence cops need to lock up the real abuser. Joel Market sobs as he's convicted of the decades-old crime and gets 24 years in prison. Is that justice for Brad Pittman?
The entire family suffered from that. He didn't take anything from the house, but he robbed them of a life together.
Reporter Rob Lowe cornered the head of El Paso's Department of Human Services and asked, is a conviction enough to right this terrible wrong?
Do you think after 20 years
Your department owes him an apology.
I'm not going to share in the media, acknowledge that we even have an open case.
It's not an open case. That's why you can talk about it. It's not an open case. Your department could apologize if it wanted to. Why not just simply say, I'm sorry?
They messed up. I mean, admit you did wrong.
What about the man now truly at the center of this horrible crime? Were Joel Marcot's courtroom tears remorse? Or did they get the wrong guy again?
What I'm saying is, I didn't do it. Somebody did it, but it wasn't me.
What would you say to Brad Pittman today?
I feel his pain. But the right person needs to be brought to justice, not me.
How would your fingerprint get on that frame?
When I check for an apartment for my family, I check everything. I go through windows, I go through doors, I go through this, I go through that.
That's right. Marcot claims his handprint got on the window while he was looking to rent an apartment years before.
Joel, do you understand that seems very odd and suspicious?
Why does that seem odd? That I check out apartments? Why don't you go when you go look for a place for your family? Don't you go and make sure that it's the best place possible for them?
No, I don't go around the back and put my fingerprints on a frame.
Okay, I want to end this interview right now.
Authorities believe they finally have the right man in prison, but there's no happy ending for a dad who will never really know the true love of his own children.
I've missed 20 years with my kids, and I don't know if they'll ever contact me. Because, you know, they've been told for 20 years that I was this horrible monster, and I'm not.
Coming up, what's next for Brad Pittman? Our panel of experts examines the heartbreaking and controversial case.
I want every single person involved in this sued.
They felt they were operating in good faith. That's what I think.
Well, because they're incompetent.
That's next. It's time for Uncuffed, where we talk about all the biggest news and legal topics trending around the country today. Today, joining me for our panel are Crime Watch Daily correspondents Jason Matera and Ebony K. Williams, our Crime Watch Daily legal analyst Jesse Weber, and forensic psychologist Dr. Michelle Ward. The case we're looking at today is one we covered earlier on the show. In 1996, a 4-year-old girl is raped in the middle of the night. When police ask her if she can describe the man who did it, she said, like her father.
Can you tell me what this guy looked like?
He maybe looked like my dad.
Now, 20 years later, fingerprints pulled from the scene match with another man, Joel Marcot. But Brad has already lost so many years with his daughter and claims now she wants nothing to do with him. So now what? Jesse, does he have a civil suit here?
In terms of going after the DHS for making this mistake, the problem is they might have immunity because they were just basically doing their job at the time. If he doesn't really have parental rights anymore, I don't know if he's going to have standing to sue.
I don't think they were doing their job at the time. I mean, this was an overzealous Department of Human Services. Not only the police did not charge him, they didn't think he did it. I want every single person involved in this sued. They should be personally held liable.
But to be fair, Child Services is under fire across the country for not interceding in these cases.
Exactly. He wasn't charged. I mean, how can you have your parental rights stricken from you if you're not even charged with the crime?
I can tell you how. If you've made a determination based off of other facts, you know, the criminality is simply one element. That person probably made the best estimation they could at the time with the facts they had, and the best interest of the child is paramount.
Well,
that's the standard.
I
just want to finish this one
Go
point.
ahead.
Certainly, that indeed was the standard, and if they felt at the time for the protection of the child that was the right decision, I think we have to take that in consideration.
Well, I mean, I think it's completely ludicrous to say that they were protecting the child here. She's 4 years old at the time. They said, you know, who did this to you? Do you know who did this to you? No, I don't know who did this to me, but he had dark skin like my dad. If it was her dad, she would have said so. It wasn't until later on, after it appears she was conditioned and brainwashed by social services to give an interview.
Guess what? My dad did it.
What did your dad do?
Hurting me.
Let me break in because I want Michelle to weigh in on this. As a psychologist, did they handle this case appropriately?
No. Here's the problem. You can convince a child of a memory that never happened, and you can do it to adults too. Yeah. So today, I would like to think that testimony from that 4-year-old girl wouldn't have
The
done
process,
anything.
But is there any remedy for this man?
What he would ultimately want is a relationship with his daughter, and the first step in getting that is to get his parental rights back. But the problem is, the way the law is written, I believe he would need the support of his daughter, who doesn't want to have anything to do with him.
The kids have grown up thinking that daddy tried to rape him. It's
hard to undo that.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sure.
exactly.
It's hard to
Over
undo that.
20-something years, and then you find out later on that your father has been exonerated. Clearly, Department of Human Services is in the wrong here, right? They were in the wrong.
I don't think clear.
No, I think it's very clear. They're in the wrong.
I
But
don't
they
think-
won't
Can you go
even
after-
apologize.
Can you go after the
But they
department?
won't even offer an
Because I
apology
think
and say,
they
listen,
felt
we...
they were operating in good faith. That's what I think.
Well, 'cause they're
they are
incompetent.
gonna- No, I don't. I disagree with
But
that.
I'll
That's
tell
your
you-
opinion. That's fine.
Well, of course, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
But there was no facts to support that Brad Pittman
But
had
no, no,
raped
no.
his 4-year-old daughter.
No, but there might have been other facts around the fact that there was concern around that relationship.
They basically took away his rights based upon speculation and circumstance, which is not what we should
But we
have.
don't
in this
have their
not a
file.
thorough
We don't have their
investigation by the police
file.
either. But if there was no actual criminal charges
that
provided
the only
against them, and there wasn't a
standard,
proper,
Jesse?
in this case, removing a child from the parents, I believe there should be.
I think we can all agree this is tragic on at least 3 different levels. As always, guys, thank you very much. For more Uncuffed and information on this story, you can go to crimewatchdaily.com. Predators, you're on notice.